Hello and welcome to the Full Hookup. Today we're in Lake City, South Carolina at the CrossRoads Coach Resort at the R.O.B. I'll explain what R.O.B is in just a minute. Lake City is on the east side of South Carolina, about 90 minutes from Myrtle Beach and Murrells Inlet for reference. This is a gated RV park, and upon entry you'll see a lovely modern office. We checked in online, you heard that right, so we never even set foot inside the office. Each site is clearly numbered, and we stayed in site number 13. The sites are long, level, poured concrete with a picnic table and enough parking for one vehicle. When I opened the electrical box to plug in, a welcome packet fell out. That was a welcome first for me, no pun intended. Inside the pack was a map of the town, a sticker from the campground, a bunch of local restaurant menus, and more. The one menu you really want to pay attention to is slabs. If you're staying at this park and you like meat, eat at Slabs. In my 51 years, they had the best ribs I have ever tasted. Equally fantastic was the sausage and brisket. There was an above-ground water connection, and with the flip of a switch, you could choose from 20, 30, or 50 amp electric. Site number 13 is very close to the bathrooms, each of which has its own security code, which they emailed to us on the day of arrival, along with the codes for Wi-Fi and the main access gate. When I walked in, it looked like a log cabin, it smelled like a log cabin, it was extremely clean, had independent climate control, and a huge shower with hot water and strong water pressure. So far, the best campground bathroom probably that I've ever experienced. I love the little bench and multiple hooks on the wall to hang your towel or your bag or clothes. And the high-up window for natural light was a nice touch. Also, one bathroom is ADA compliant. We didn't need it, but I always appreciate that consideration. Beside the bathroom is a laundry facility with 3 washer dryers and a table for folding clothes. Our site was backed up against a row of close houses, but it was as quiet on their side of the fence as it was ours. And it didn't bother us or our dog Megs. Several times we found her just watching the squirrels and birds that danced around their backyards. Something else Megs enjoyed was the dog park. It's across the parking lot and spacious enough for several dogs to play at once. They even had a nice water fountain, bench for humans, and throughout the entire park they had bags to pick up after your dog. So, pick up after your dog. Between the dog park and the campground is the R.O.B. and a huge parking lot. R.O.B. stands for Ragsdale Old Building. It was built in the 1920s as a charcoal briquette factory, but now it's just a large event venue. 20 minutes away is Lynch's River County Park, and I'll tell you why this is important in just a minute. If you go before 5 p.m., you can walk several really cool suspension bridges, fun for the whole family. It's over swampland, and I highly recommend it. If you go inside the Discovery Center, you can see a live alligator, snake, turtle, and other creatures. Here you can rent canoes and paddle across some interesting waters. Keep an eye out for gators. Our dog Megs couldn't resist a little canoeing in her own way, as she always does. There's a great boardwalk to take in the river. You can also camp at this park, and here's the reason why this is important. Back to the R.O.B. and how it relates to your stay at the campground. There is exactly one billionaire in Lake City, Darla Moore. Google her name. And Darla Moore started Artfield, an annual 12-state art competition with $100,000 in prize money about a decade ago, maybe a little longer than that. Although Lake City has a permanent art vibe to it, for 2 weeks a year, the entire city becomes Artfields. Many, many artists from 12 states and art patrons from all over the country flock to this city to celebrate and spend money. And nearly every business in town participates in displaying the work of those artists, including the R.O.B building, which will be full of some pretty cool shit. And I imagine that huge parking lot that separates the dog park and the campground is going to be quite full, as will the campground, so book early if you're staying. Something else Lake City is known for, Dr. Ron McNair, one of the astronauts on the Space Shuttle Challenger that exploded in 1986. This is his hometown and resting place. It's a very easy walk from the campground. It's right out the back by the library. Lake City is an economically depressed place, and yet it produced one billionaire and one brilliant astronaut. Think about that, and go pay your respects at the memorial for Dr. McNair. Since I couldn't sleep well because of the train, I want to show you how well lit the park is at night. If you don't have window coverings, it's going to be a very well lit night for you. Every part of the campground is well lit, including the large parking lot and the dog park. The campground has a modern, efficient, well-designed website and a reservation process that was as easy as it gets. They didn't insist on cash or check like many other places. They accepted credit cards, and I was able to pay in full online. Apart from its proximity to downtown, those factors made the CrossRoads RV Park stand out to me. We had planned to pay the full $60 per night rate for our one-night stay, but we discovered that a Passport America membership could cut that price in half. We decided to purchase the membership for $44 and paid only $30 for our stay at the park. So we paid essentially $14 more than we would have without the membership, but we expect that after just 1 or 2 more stays at other parks, the Passport America membership will have paid for itself. In fact, if we had stayed here for 2 more nights, it would have already been worth it. Passport America, so far, pretty sweet deal. Also on their website is a long list of rules, and honestly I was a little put off by the rules, which read like an HOA manual that I wanted no part of. For example, I was not allowed to hang wet towels outside. They can reject your stay based on how your RV looks. The speed limit is set at 5 miles an hour, and although we weren't bringing any small kids with us, one rule was don't leave any toys on the grass. I thought it might feel restrictive when we got to the park, but it didn't. I wasn't sure if these rules were necessary precautions or just a way for them to cover their own liability. I understand wanting to protect your assets. I didn't get a bad impression at all in person, and if you're going to make a long list of rules, can't one of them be no politics? Camping used to be about the great outdoors, and I don't care who you vote for, there's no place for politics in a campground. Aside from the 2 weeks of Artfields that I mentioned, there isn't a lot happening in Lake City. I mean, if you live there, I'm sure it's a place you're proud of. I totally understand that. I live in a tiny town called Travelers Rest, South Carolina, and between the two cities, there are some similarities. Would I stay here again? Well, definitely not at full price. For us, the train is probably a deal breaker. If you're in an RV that doesn't have a canvas tip-out tent or something on it, it has solid walls, maybe you won't hear that train. I can't imagine that's the case. Overall, I would give the CrossRoads a 6.7. If it weren't for the train, we'd likely be closer to an 8. As always, this is just our perspective, and you should do what's right for you. Thank you for watching the Full Hookup. Happy trails.